Magic is a tool. Why it's not the force, but the user that makes. The word occult means hidden, but some of its most influential structures are hidden in plain sight. Throughout history and into the modern world, magical knowledge has been protected, transmitted, and weaponized through formal organizations, lodges, covens, and ceremonial orders that continue to shape culture, politics, and spiritual discourse behind closed doors. These groups vary widely in purpose and practice. Some are dedicated to personal development, alchemical ascent, and cosmic understanding. Others function as gates of control, obscuring truth beneath layers of secrecy, hierarchy, and ritual performance. In this lesson, we will explore where the occult lives today, not in rumor or folklore, but in structured institutions that continue to govern access to magical systems. We'll clarify the definitions of lodges, covens, and magical orders, examine major organizations like Freemasonry, the Rosicrucians, Thelema, and the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, and explore the tension between feminine-based initiatory systems and patriarchal magical structures. We'll also confront the spiritual politics of secrecy, who gets to know, who gets to lead, and what happens when spiritual power becomes a tool for elite gatekeeping. Let's begin by defining the terms. A lodge is a formal magical or esoteric organization, usually operating under a hierarchical structure, where initiates advance through degrees or levels based on ritual participation and study. The term is most commonly associated with Freemasonry, but applies broadly to any order with structured initiation rites, oaths, and symbolic systems. Lodges often meet in designated physical spaces and follow strict procedural protocols. Their teachings are typically veiled in symbolism and encoded language, accessible only to members. A coven is a smaller, often female-led group of witches or magical practitioners who gather regularly for ritual work, lunar celebrations, spellcasting, and shared study. Unlike lodges, covens may not always have formal hierarchies, though many do appoint a high priestess or central guide. Covens are deeply tied to earth-based and feminine-oriented systems like Wicca, traditional witchcraft, and pagan priestess paths. They emphasize experiential magic, lunar cycles, and personal empowerment over doctrinal control. A magical order refers to any organized group practicing ceremonial or ritual magic based on a defined philosophical system. This can include both lodges and covens, but also larger international organizations with temples, training manuals, and initiation requirements. Orders often blend mysticism, alchemy, astrology, and ritual drama into a comprehensive worldview. These institutions are not fringe curiosities. They are the backbone of esoteric history, guarding, shaping, and in many cases, selectively distributing magical knowledge across generations. Let's start with one of the most well-known, Freemasonry. Freemasonry is a centuries-old fraternal order originating from medieval stonemason guilds. While often portrayed as a social club or charity network, its ritual structure, symbolism, and philosophical teachings are unmistakably esoteric. The Masonic initiation rites echo ancient mystery school frameworks: death and rebirth, sacred geometry, ritual oaths, and moral development. Members ascend through degrees, typically 33 in the Scottish Rite, each associated with deeper levels of symbolic understanding. While Freemasonry officially denies being a religion or a cult society, its system is built on Kabbalah, alchemical symbolism, and Hermetic philosophy. The square and compass, the all-seeing eye, the pillars of Boaz and Jachin, all derive from mystical traditions. Freemasonry's influence on Western politics, architecture, and founding documents is undeniable. Many U.S. presidents, European leaders, and industrial moguls were Masons. Yet despite its surface reputation for charity and brotherhood, the inner circles of Freemasonry guard knowledge not available to the general public, including ritual language, cosmic cosmologies, and encoded symbols that shape law, finance, and global architecture. Next is Rosicrucianism, a philosophical and mystical movement emerging in 17th century Europe. The Rosicrucians claim to be an ancient brotherhood of initiates possessing secret spiritual knowledge that could transform society. Their teachings combined Christian mysticism with Hermeticism, alchemy, and sacred geometry. The original manifestos, Fama Fraternitatis and Confessio Fraternitatis, promised enlightenment through inner purification and alignment with divine wisdom. Rosicrucianism deeply influenced the development of science, art, and esotericism during the Renaissance. Figures like Isaac Newton, Francis Bacon, and René Descartes were either members or heavily influenced by Rosicrucian ideals. Modern Rosicrucian orders like Aim-Arc, ancient mystical order Rosicrucis, still exist today, offering teachings on soul evolution, cosmic laws, and the connection between mind and matter. While less public-facing than Freemasonry, Rosicrucian orders have long served as silent think tanks, guiding intellectual, scientific, and spiritual currents beneath the surface. Then there is Thelema, a magical and philosophical system founded by Aleister Crowley in the early 1900s. Crowley was a British occultist, ceremonial magician, and former member of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. His system of Thelema is built on the central maxim, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law." Contrary to popular misconception, this is not a license for hedonism. In Thelemic doctrine, true will refers to one's divine purpose or soul path. The goal is not chaos, but alignment with one's highest calling. Thelema incorporates astrology, ritual magic, Egyptian deities, and the invocation of entities like Iwas, whom Crowley described as a spiritual intelligence that dictated the Book of the Law. While Crowley is often painted as satanic or perverse, his system is best understood as an exploration of individual sovereignty through ceremonial magic. However, his work also attracted darker practitioners who misused his teachings for personal power, orgiastic ritual, or egoic domination. Like all magical tools, Thelema can uplift or distort, depending on the practitioner. That leads us to the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, perhaps the most influential magical order of the modern era. Founded in 1888 in London, the Golden Dawn synthesized Kabbalah, alchemy, astrology, Egyptian mysticism, and tarot into a structured system of magical initiation. Members advanced through 10 levels mirroring the Kabbalistic tree of life, each involving ritual tests, symbolic knowledge, and energetic refinement. The Golden Dawn gave rise to many of the magical systems still practiced today, and heavily influenced figures like Aleister Crowley, W.B. Yeats, and Dion Fortune. The Golden Dawn's work was deeply structured and intellectual, favoring ritual precision and textual study. However, internal power struggles and ego conflicts eventually led to its dissolution. Its teachings, however, remain foundational to Western esotericism. Modern magical orders continue to adapt and distribute its materials, though often without the same level of ethical training or spiritual discipline, which has led to fragmentation and distortion. It's important to recognize that not all magical organizations are patriarchal or male-dominated. In fact, many indigenous, goddess-based, and lunar priestess traditions maintained matrifocal magical lineages for thousands of years before being violently suppressed. These included the temples of Isis in Egypt, the Pythia priestesses at Delphi, the Druidic women of the Celtic world, and the medicine women of tribal societies across Africa, Asia, and the Americas. Even today, feminine-based magical orders exist, though often outside mainstream recognition. These groups emphasize embodiment, rhythm, fertility, blood wisdom, and intuitive gnosis. They may not use complex ritual scripts or ceremonial robes, but their work is no less magical. Feminine orders often operate through dance, womb rites, circle sharing, and elemental communion. Their power lies not in conquest, but in connection. And because of that, they are often dismissed by hierarchical traditions that equate structure with superiority. This brings us to a critical issue: the politics of secrecy. While some degree of privacy is understandable, especially in spiritual traditions prone to misunderstanding or persecution, many magical organizations have used secrecy to hoard knowledge, suppress dissent, and control access to spiritual tools. This has led to abuse, manipulation, and ego-driven leadership in both male and female-dominated groups. Spiritual secrecy, when paired with hierarchy and unchecked authority, can become a mechanism for spiritual elitism or even ritual exploitation. Not all secrecy is malicious. Some knowledge does require maturity, readiness, and ethical grounding. Just as nuclear physics isn't taught to children, certain magical technologies demand responsibility. But when secrecy becomes a veil for corruption, it violates the very principles that magical orders claim to protect. Ultimately, magical organizations are like the forces they work with, neutral in potential, shaped by intent. Some lodges initiate souls into sacred understanding and universal service. Others entrap initiates in ego games, astral contracts, or intergenerational power structures. Some covens heal ancestral trauma. Others enact hidden rituals for influence. You cannot judge the morality of a group by its symbols, aesthetics, or famous names. You must evaluate their ethics, transparency, spiritual alignment, and treatment of power. As with all spiritual systems, discernment is your most vital tool. Ask: do they honor free will? Do they cultivate spiritual maturity or demand blind loyalty? Are they transparent about where their teachings come from and who they serve? Lodges, covens, and magical orders are not relics of the past. They are active today, influencing politics, media, healing, and social movements. Some work for truth, some work for control. What matters is that you know how to see them, how to recognize their structure, and how to evaluate their alignment, not by secrecy, but by spirit. Because the occult doesn't hide just in books or symbols. It hides in plain sight, wearing robes, holding ceremonies, and shaping culture while the rest of the world sleeps. Hi, I'm Adeline Atlas. 11 times published author and School of Soul has just released one of our most requested deep dives, the Magic and Occult series. This series is not for the faint of heart. It's for those who know there's more going on beneath the surface, behind the media, behind the family, behind the system. This series breaks the spell and hands you the map. The Magic and Occult series includes over 200 videos on 1. Entertainment or ritual. Decoding mainstream media as mass spellwork. 2. Occult families. Spot them. How generational magic and ritual lineage hides in plain sight. 3. Occult symbolism. The signs, seals, and signals used to claim, curse, or command. 4. Esoteric symbolism. Layered meaning, sacred geometry, and encoded messages. 5. Law is magic. How how contracts, courts, and language are rituals of power. 6. Spells and spirits, what magic really is, and what happens when you use it. 7. Covens and lodges, where modern ritual happens and who's involved. 8. Destiny swapping, how rituals steal timelines, talent, or soul contracts. 9. Energy harvesting, spiritual parasitism, and how to seal your field. 10. The clairs, your intuitive senses, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and more. 11. Become magical, how to strengthen your gifts, protect your mind, and wield conscious force. 12. Miracles are real, divine intervention, faith portals, and supernatural reversals. 13. The chosen ones, what sets them apart and why they're always targeted. 14. The black sheep, the generational breaker, often isolated by design. 15. Targeted individuals, spiritual and technological targeting of aware souls. 16. Gang stalking, organized spiritual and psychological warfare. This is the most revealing, most spiritually advanced, and most protective series SOS has ever released. If you've ever felt something was off about this world, this will confirm it and prepare you for what comes next. Your protection begins with knowledge. Join the SOS School of Soul Vault.